Time for our special In the Sulky guest tonight. The Big M welcomes a man of many hats. A familiar face here, Peter Kleinhans, a trainer of the week, former Big M race analyst. We used to work together a lot, right?
That's right, 1994, 95.
You used to drive in from the Meadows in that frozen car of yours with no heat?
That's right.
And
That's
tell
right.
me all the stories of cross country with the cat and all that
That's
stuff?
right. Get in at 6 in the morning, sleep till noon, come out, do the show, drive back all night.
Fantastic. Well, you want to get a couple of shout-outs in right away, right? Right off the bat.
That's right, yes. I'd like to say hello to my lovely girlfriend Beth, who's watching at home, along with my son Quinn and my new daughter Rebecca, who's
only
1 month old today.
It's a new foal, right?
That's right.
It's a new one, a filly, right?
Yes.
All right, how old is she?
She'll be a month actually tomorrow.
All right, and she's walking already, I heard.
Oh, exactly.
Put the hobbles on, and there way you go. Well, you're an educated guy. You've got several degrees, and it seems the world was or still is your oyster. Why racing? Why is standardbred racing and harness racing held your attention? It seems like you could do a lot of other things.
You know, that's one of the things I've always wondered about. It's just something I've loved ever since I've first seen it, and it still has the thrill for me.
Still has a hold on you.
Yeah, there are just some things that some people feel that way about, and for whatever reason, this is mine. I'm not sure. There are other things I'd like to do also, but right now I'm loving this.
It's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, you're noted for a guy that likes to have those troubled trotters, right? The ones that give other people problems, right?
Well, that's right. Recently I've been able to afford better horses, but before, either I had the choice of horses with no talent or horses with talent who were crazy or lame or something like that, and I'd always rather have the talented horse with the problem than just a slow horse. So I enjoyed learning from these problem horses.
And speaking of talent, you have a lot of talent in the announcer's booth. You've done a lot of announcing and commentating, as I just mentioned. Are you still looking for that full-time gig? I know you asked me on the phone, could I call a race?
Well, you know, I really miss announcing because I love announcing races. I don't think I could do a full-time job right now with the kids and everything, but I did a decent amount of Tioga Downs a few years ago, and I still like calling a race from now and then because I really enjoy it.
And handicapping is what you really like. That's your forte. Now, have you finished the book you were writing and the computer program? You still working on that?
Well, the computer program was finished, and it's a great program that actually a friend of mine wrote something that downloads all the past performances from the USTA site. Then I wrote a program that reads those past performances, breaks it up into trips, saves each horse's statistics, and it was doing very well, but it requires so much work on the database that I haven't added it to it for the last 2 or 3 years. There are new tracks. You have to create par times for each class. A little too much work, so I've been more busy with the horses and my family than that.
All right. Are you still involved with Tioga Downs and Vernon Downs as a shareholder?
Yes,
right?
I'm a very small, I don't even know what my percentage is, 1 or 2%, but I'm involved there. I was hoping to go up there more, but it's just a long drive from New York, and as I said,
3.5 hours to Tioga from here, right?
Yeah, if you go as fast as I do, and maybe as you do, it sounds
I probably go pretty fast. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get to the meat of the matter tonight. Starting with, let's start with Aragon, that pacer in the third race, who's off to a pretty solid start for his 4-year-old season. We're going to look at his role in here, his win here, right up on the screen, March the 4th. Talk about him. How'd you get him, first of all?
We bought him as a 2-year-old. Actually, a friend of mine, Benny Eggers, trained him as a 2-year-old, and I was very impressed with his first qualifier and his first start, so we bought him privately. He came back at 3. I thought he'd have a big year, but he really had problems. He had a throat issue. We had to have throat surgery done on him, a tie-back surgery, but it was very successful. He came back very strong this year. And, throat surgery is one of those things, a lot of times horses don't respond to it, but he did, and I'm very happy with how he's racing this year.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a tie forward, too, right?
I think so.
Someone told me about that.
I haven't had to do that on anybody yet. Hopefully he won't have to.
Good stuff. Well, he just won a leg or a division of the Sagamore. What's he doing here?
Well, we're trying to make both finals, which will be a very tough thing to do, but he's raced in 2 legs of the Sagamore. There are 3 legs of that, so he's missing this week's leg at Yonkers. Hopefully he made the final by finishing 1st and 3rd. Now we're going to race him here. Hope he can win tonight to make the final here.
Right.
Go back next week to Yonkers for the final there, and then hopefully come back here for the final here. It might work out, might not.
Well, sounds like good planning. George Brennan's choice over 3 others in the race, so he's reunited with the Minister of Speed tonight. Post 7, but you're the 2-to-1 morning line choice. Now, let's get to the clash of the trotting titans. Do you like that? Did you like the way
I
they
love
posted
it.
that
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
website? Build it up, right? Tonight's 10th race, round 1 of the Sumac Lad. Enough talk. Fastest trotter in history, 149.3. First of all, go back to that 149.3 at Colonial Downs. Now, it was a catapult setup. I mean, there was a fast pace, ideal conditions, right? But tell us about that.
I mean, there's no question that race was everything he needed to set a record. He had a fast pace in front of him. There was a duel up front. It's a Colonial, which is only 1 turn. So, it definitely set up for a fast time. That being said, he did everything he could do. He rolled off cover. He exploded. He won by 8 lengths, beating Vivid Photo. So it wasn't a fluky effort. The time might have been a little bit fluky, but I wouldn't be surprised to to see him go a very fast mark on a mile track this year if he stays sound.
Well, we just saw his 2010 debut last week. Fastest trotter in history. Gave you quite a thrill. In fact, on the internet, you said it was perhaps the greatest thrill you've had in racing to see him make that comeback, do it safely, do it cleanly, and straight, and win.
You know, as anyone who's been around horses or has even seen the movie Seabiscuit knows, and any horse that's already been a champion and then has had problems and is an effort to get back, when you see them come back and do it again, it just makes your heart stir. I mean, that's part of what I love about the game. And this is such a lovable horse, just personality-wise, as well as his racing personality. He's just got a great attitude. He loves to race. He got into the paddock last week and he was winning at the other horses, something he almost never does. You could just see he was so happy to be back. So I'm very happy for him that he's racing well now.
Now, he was a $250,000 purchase,
That's
right?
correct.
He's
yes.
made over $1 million for you. 2 trips to the Elite Lop. One didn't work out. I believe it was last year didn't work out, right? Now, it depends what he does tonight. He could make another trip, right?
Yeah, I'm going to just keep an open mind about it. I mean, I love Sweden and I love the race, but I don't want to go there with a horse who's not going to be competitive, so I just want to see how he's going to be. I think he is competitive.
There are other races there for him as well, right?
There's a race in Finland and a race in Norway that come up before the Elite Lop that go for pretty good money. So we just have to look and see what's out there and judge based on how he's doing.
He's a good traveler. He can do this sort of thing.
Exactly. Right? I am not worried about the ship. I think he could ship out there, race, and come right back and race right away, and I'm not too concerned about that.
And just outline briefly some of the the illnesses or problems he had last year, one of which you think might have been, it was hard to figure out. Was it 1 or 2 or 3 vets couldn't figure it out, and maybe it was psychological?
It's really hard to know. We still have yet to totally diagnose what this one issue is. When you see him first go out on the track, he sort of canters, he looks sore, he's just stiff, he just doesn't look good. After you go a couple miles, that goes away. Now, at the end of last year, it seemed like it wasn't going away. So that's why we stopped with him. We hoped it would come back and not be there. Well, it's still there a little bit, but it's going away. So I don't really know what to say is going on, but as long as he stays the same as he is now, I think he'll race well for the...
And you think he can challenge and match strides with Lucky Jim on his best day?
Absolutely. I mean, Lucky Jim
everything being equal.
Yes. I mean, Lucky Jim's a terrific horse, and I think we're a terrific horse. And, you know, Arch Madness should not be left out of this equation because Arch Madness is a great horse, and to call this the Clash of the Titans, I would add Arch Madness to that. Maybe not in his first or second start of the year, but I'm a big Arch Madness fan, and I think that he deserves to be put with those two. I think they're all very good.